Anna, Helen, Greta, and Linnea, 4 German civilian women, were on their knees at the edge of the forest. Their clothes were torn, faces streaked with ice and dirt, and every breath burned their chests as if the cold itself were on fire. They knew the soldiers were behind them, hunting them down. This pursuit was not only a matter of life and death, it was a living nightmare where every step brought new pain, exhaustion, and fear. The flickering light of a distant torch danced between the trees. Anna lifted her head, her throat raw, her eyes wide with terror, yet brimming with defiance. Behind them, the heavy boots of the soldiers grew louder, crunching through the snow. Every step was perilous. The cold whipped at their skin like lashes, but stopping was not an option. The soldiers surrounded them, hands bound without warning. Standing in the freezing snow, pressed against the walls of the forest, every woman knew that a single wrong move could mean instant death. Their screams were swallowed by the night, lost in the bitter wind. They were dragged to an old, abandoned mill, repurposed into a wartime prison and punishment camp. Inside, the air was damp, thick with the smell of cold stone and metal. Light was minimal, only the faint glow of torches held by guards. The walls seemed to close in, suffocating, heavy with the echoes of those who had suffered before them. On the first day, they were locked into small, dark cells. The floor was wet, littered with rough wooden boards and scattered stones. Hands and feet were bound, backs pressed painfully against walls, while guards shouted threats that crushed their courage. Water and food were scarce. Limbs went numb from the cold. Bones ached from unnatural positions. Every day, forced labor awaited, lifting heavy stones, clearing debris, repairing broken railway tracks. Any mistake meant punishment. Sometimes, they were forced to stand near a blazing furnace. Other times, out in the freezing snow. Physical pain was constant, but psychological torment was relentless. Days passed. Fatigue, hunger, and injuries multiplied. Anna wept quietly while Helen tried to give courage. Greta endured in silence. Guards occasionally held torches near their faces, blinding them, while others struck with sticks. In the smoke-filled, icy rooms, their screams echoed, fading into the walls but never truly gone. At night, they were crowded into tiny, dark cells. Everyone shivered, exhausted, starving. Yet the women clung to each other, finding comfort in shared survival. Slowly, they began planning escape. A few days later, a fierce blizzard struck. Snow and wind made everything nearly impossible. Water dripped from the ceiling, the floors became slick, and the guards' shouts grew more urgent. Still, the women did not lose hope. One night, when guard attention faltered, they freed themselves. Anna, Helen, and Greta ran through darkness. Ruined houses, icy forests, broken railway tracks. Every step was a battle. Anna slipped into a frozen ditch, but Helen and Greta pulled her out. Blood and bruises covered them, yet fear and survival instinct pushed them onward. The soldiers returned. Torchlight flashed between trees. The blizzard raged, each step perilous. Screams, terror, and pain surrounded them. Finally, deep in the forest, they began their last desperate dash. Each step felt closer to death than the last, but the will to live and the support they gave each other propelled them forward. The night at Frost Point was never officially recorded in history. Only this is known. These 4 women endured extreme suffering, torture, psychological trauma, and physical pain. Only their courage, resilience, and each other kept them alive. That night transformed Frost Point into one of the most mysterious, cruel, and silent places of World War II. A place where stories of suffering linger long after the echoes of war have faded.